That does it for the Mexico Grand Prix. Here are my 3 takeaways from this one as the tensions between Max Verstappen and Lando Norris continue to rise, as the two of them haven't really spoken to each other following the US Grand Prix, which is quite strange when you think about it because they're actually really good friends off of the racetrack. I heard from Lando Norris following this one, and all he really wants is for Max Verstappen to race him fairly, or to race fairly. And he believes that, Max wants that too. It's just not against him because he's his championship rival. I think the stewards this weekend set a precedent with how these two are going to race each other moving forward. Because Max is so good at playing in that gray area of the rules that I think having this third party like the FIA and the stewards when it comes to the racing can step in and start to get more involved in it, because they weren't all that involved with what had happened between the two of them at the US Grand Prix. Now, that being said, since they slapped Verstappen with 20 seconds worth of time penalties in this race, both Red Bull and McLaren, well, you can bet that if the two of them are going wheel to wheel again, or if one forces the other off the track, you can bet that Red Bull or McLaren are going to be running to the stewards saying, hey, back in Mexico, you did this when our driver did this. We expect you to do similar things. And I believe that that is what will happen as we move forward, because by the time we get to Qatar, I think there's going to be some changes with the rules of wheel-to-wheel racing and the rules of racing conduct, because I think the FIA are going to make a few changes there when we get to Qatar, and we'll hear more about it then. Ferrari, they are on another level right now. They look fantastic. Carlos Sainz coming away with a victory here on Sunday. This place erupted when he crossed the start-finish line. And it was a little sad, hearing from Carlos afterwards at some points, just because he's not going to be at Ferrari next season. And he feels that, he's worked so hard with Ferrari over the last few years to get them to where they are now, that all he wants is to kind of be a part of that. And he feels that, hey, this team could be in contention for Constructors' Championship this season and next season in particular, and Drivers' Championship next season as well, because that's a trajectory that Ferrari is on right now. And I think for Carlos, part of him obviously is grateful that he's sticking around in Formula One. He's going to be racing for Williams, but the other part of him is that he's put so much work and effort into Ferrari, and now to see it start to pay off, that he's going to be missing a lot of that when he moves down to Williams, because obviously they have Lewis Hamilton incoming for next season. The other part of all this, I think, that I would really like to focus on at the end is this McLaren-Ferrari Constructors' Championship battle that we could see play out here as the season sort of progresses or starts to wind down. We only have a few more races left, but Ferrari has leapfrogged Red Bull in the Constructor standings. So they're second, P2, in the Constructor standings, chasing down McLaren. And they're extremely close. There's not much separating either one of them. So if Ferrari were to go ahead and, leapfrog McLaren for a Constructors' Championship and take that away from them, that is huge. Not only for this season, but the momentum heading in to 2025, where we're probably going to see a season the likes that we have never seen before, with how close the racing and the championships are going to be. But they got to do it first. So next stop is Brazil, and we'll talk to you more after that one.